Next morning, everyone.
Next morning.
We start with what is glutathione. And the chemical short form for the active form of glutathione is GSH. You will see I'll be using this a lot in this presentation. And we need to know how important is glutathione for health. Okay. So what is glutathione? It is a small molecule made of 3 amino acids. So therefore, it's called a tripeptide. And these 3 amino acids are glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. Some of you may know that amino acids are the building blocks of peptides and proteins. It is the body's most abundant endogenous antioxidant. That means it is produced by our cells inside the body, protecting the body from free radical damage and oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is the term denoting when there is excess free radicals compared to the antioxidants that fight them. And glutathione regulates also immune function. It is the most important intracellular antioxidant. That means inside the cells, glutathione is the most important antioxidant. It has several other major functions, plus hundreds of minor functions, from DNA synthesis to nitric oxide production to regulating the release of oxygen from red blood cells. And because of these many functions, glutathione is essential for life. Low levels are associated with many chronic diseases, and high levels are predictive of good health and longer lifespan. So this is how the molecule looks like for those of you who know chemistry. And the 3 amino acids on the left is glutamic acid, the center is cysteine, and on the right is glycine. And the short form, the GSH, refers to, the G refers to the bulk of the molecule, and the SH refers to that portion up there with the sulfur atom attached to a hydrogen atom, so which is called the thiol or sulfihydryl group. And this is what gives glutathione its versatility. Unfortunately, it also makes glutathione fragile. And this component, in fact, is part of cysteine, which is why cysteine is also a fragile amino acid. Okay. So these are the major functions of glutathione. The most important antioxidant for all cells, including the brain cells, a very powerful anti-inflammatory agent. It is an immune modulator, and not just immune booster. It modulates, meaning if the immune system is underperforming, then it will boost it up. But if it's already overactive, it will calm it down, right? You cannot be boosting an overactive immune system. It's going to get worse problems. And it also helps normalize autoimmunity, may reverse autoimmunity. It is a very powerful detoxifier. In fact, it is the most important detoxifier for the body. And it's a versatile signaling molecule. It's probably something you may have not heard before. The body works through a lot of signals, and one of the most important signaling molecules that give signals to the cells to work, is glutathione. And on top of this, there are hundreds of other functions. And all 5 major functions are relevant to autism. And I'm jumping the gun a bit because the focus was on autistic children. Okay, why do we need antioxidants? These antioxidants neutralize free radicals. And what are free radicals? These are unstable molecules that damage our cells, causing disease and aging. Okay, you have free radicals, which are unstable molecules because they lack an electron, and antioxidants can then donate the electron to stabilize the free radicals. But take note, once an antioxidant donates the electron, it itself is now electron deficient and is unstable. So what happens inside the cell is there is a team of antioxidants working together, each rescuing the other, until you come to a point where nobody can rescue the one on top of the cascade, but the body, the cell, has an enzyme system that allows the top antioxidant, the top of the cascade, to be recharged or recycled. And that antioxidant is glutathione. So that's why it is the master antioxidant. So you can see that we cannot just survive on just one antioxidant. We need a team of antioxidants. Inside the cell, these are the 5 compulsory antioxidants, and they are called the network antioxidants. So we must take a range of antioxidants to neutralize free radicals. If we do not, they will continue to multiply into greater numbers, resulting in chronic diseases. So this is a team that is keeping our cells healthy as far as fighting free radicals. And their boss, the leader, the master is glutathione. And glutathione helps recycle and conserve the other antioxidants, right? You know, vitamin C works on the water-soluble component of the cells. Vitamin E works on the fat portion of the cells, right? And there's also coenzyme Q10 and alpha-lipoic acid. So they all work as a team. In the end, on the top of the cascade is glutathione, which helps the system to regenerate and recycle. Next, we come to the subject of inflammation, right? After many decades of talking about free radicals and oxidative stress and antioxidants, the science have moved on to inflammation as being the underlying cause of all these diseases, including cancer and aging. So does that mean then free radicals and oxidative stress have become less important? No, it is just that we now realize that oxidative stress is a major cause of inflammation, right? But there are other causes of inflammation apart from oxidative stress. Okay, so how important is glutathione for health? So we just look at this fact that at the moment, the number of published research papers on glutathione is more than the combined number of research papers on the other network antioxidants, which are the vitamin C, vitamin E, coenzyme Q10, and alpha-lipoic acid. And this shows how important glutathione is, not just for its role as a master antioxidant, but also for its other major roles and hundreds of minor roles in maintaining our health and in preventing and reversing diseases. And how can glutathione help parents and caregivers? To be efficient in managing and helping your family, you need to ensure that you are healthy first. It's just like when you're on a plane, you know, and there is the need to have oxygen. You have to make sure that you have the oxygen mask first before you attend to the others. Scientific evidence has shown that having healthy levels of glutathione is a top priority in maintaining good health, avoiding diseases, reversing diseases, and slowing down aging. Okay, these are some of the many benefits of glutathione. Helps you increase energy, slows down the aging process, reduces muscle and joint discomfort, strengthens immune system, detoxifies the liver and cells, improves mental focus and clarity, improves quality of sleep, reduces the effects of stress, improves the skin, and also improves athletic performance and recovery. Okay, glutathione is also important for sleep, and this is very interesting. More glutathione is produced when the body is asleep than during any other time. So good sleep means higher levels of glutathione production. And higher levels of glutathione improve sleep quality. So it's a positive cycle. On the other hand, if you have low levels of glutathione, then your sleep quality is less and glutathione production is less, right? And that's a negative vicious cycle. So those with low glutathione also have lower capacity to produce it. Okay, so several research have been done on showing that high glutathione levels equals health and longevity. Studies clearly show a correlation between high levels of glutathione activity and longevity. This is 1998 study. That's already 25 years ago. Already we know that higher levels of active glutathione, the GSH, were found in centenarians aged between 100 and 105, as compared to those who were, 20 to 40 years younger than them. Right? 4 years later, another study, this time is a prospective study, meaning they followed 87 healthy women aged 60 to 103. They followed for 5 years and found that those who had high levels of glutathione in the blood are those who remained healthy and didn't die. Okay. Conversely, low levels of glutathione have been associated with over 100 diseases. Okay, many diseases have been studied, and this is a consistent finding. Those with chronic diseases or even acute diseases have low levels of glutathione. Okay. Earlier, I did mention that glutathione is the most important antioxidant, plus many other major functions. It's so important that the body produces it. And in general, when you're young, there is enough production of it. But unfortunately, we are all programmed to degenerate as we age and then die. And part of this programming is that our production of glutathione declines as we age. Okay, this is how the glutathione declines. From about age 20 or so, sorry, it declines by about 10 to 15% every decade. So as the glutathione levels get significantly lower, for example, by 40, you are 20 to 30% less than when you were 20. And while you're 60, then you're 40 to 60% less. So that's already significant, which means your oxidative stress goes up, your inflammation goes up, your immunity goes down, your toxicity goes up, yeah, your signaling capability goes down. So everything that requires glutathione will be affected. So for this first part, take-home message is glutathione is crucial for our health. Although it is produced by our body, the production declines after age 20. So if you want to stay healthy and avoid diseases, you must ensure you have healthy levels of glutathione. All right. Next, I'm going to address what glutathione, what's the role of glutathione in the special children, right? The children with autism spectrum diseases, and then Down syndrome, and then other related conditions related to neuropsychiatric or behavioral disorders. So I just need to revise these terms, which will be repeatedly mentioned. So we have glutathione, GSH is the active form, GSSG is the inactive form of glutathione. Then you have antioxidants, then you have free radicals, then you have oxidative stress, where you have excess free radicals over antioxidants. Then you have inflammation, and you have anti-inflammatory actions. Then you have toxins, you have detoxification, you have immunity and autoimmunity. That is when your immune system attacks your own cells and tissues and organs. Then we have signaling molecules, and we have mitochondria, which are the energy factories of our cells. Okay, just be familiar with these steps. So how can glutathione help the special children? We start with the autism spectrum disorders. And what we know so far is that patients with autism exhibit high levels of oxidative stress and inflammation. Okay, especially in the context of the brain, and the cellular damage caused by oxidative stress and inflammation may contribute to ASD. Right, this may be in part attributable to the fact that production of glutathione is typically either impaired or otherwise inefficient in patients with ASD. So studies have shown that they have problems producing glutathione even when they are young, whereas for the healthy children, production is okay until about age 20. And studies show that many autistic patients have defective genes related to one or more enzymes of the glutathione system, right? So so for these children, with defective genes. We can say it is inborn. Study published in 2012, 2012, found that glutathione levels in the cerebellum, that's the back part of the brain, of patients with ASD were 44.6% lower than in healthy control. So that is a huge decline. There's something you expect in people, older people, 50 years and above, right? But these are children already having that kind of low levels of glutathione. Researchers also found that lower levels of glutathione are correlated to higher levels of inflammation and neuronal dysfunction. And in samples of brain matter taken from deceased patients, right? Autopsy, for example, patients with ASD exhibited 72% higher concentrations of biomarker molecules which signify oxidative stress-based DNA damage. Okay, so that's the study. The conclusion from that study is that ASD patients showed decreased blood levels of reduced glutathione. Reduced glutathione is the active form glutathione, right? 27% less. And then the glutathione enzyme, 18% less, right? Methionine is an amino acid that can also be converted to cysteine, 13% less, cysteine, 14% less, and increased concentrations of the oxidized, the inactive form of glutathione. So they have less active form of glutathione, but high levels of the oxidized or inactive form. Okay. Another study concluded that glutathione is a major endogenous antioxidant that plays a crucial role in protecting cells from exogenous and endogenous free radicals and toxins, particularly in the central nervous system. The present study examines the concentrations of glutathione, right, the active form and the inactive form, and the redox ratio is the ratio between the two in different regions of brain from autistic subjects and control subjects. What did they find? That in autistic subjects, glutathione levels, the active form of glutathione levels was significantly decreased by 34.2 and 44.6%, okay, with a concomitant increase of the inactive or the oxidized form as compared to the control group. Right, so this ratio, the redox ratio of the active versus the inactive, or the reduced versus the oxidized form of glutathione, was also significantly decreased by 52% in the cerebellum and by 60.8% in temporal cortex. Temporal cortex is on the side of the brain, suggesting that glutathione redox imbalance in the brain of individuals is a major factor in autism. These findings indicate that autism is associated with deficits in glutathione antioxidant defense in selective regions of the brain, namely the cerebellum and temporal cortex. So you have objective proof that the brains of autistic subjects or children have deficiency in glutathione, deficiency especially of the active form of glutathione, causing an imbalance, right, in the active versus the inactive or the oxidized form of glutathione. So with that in mind, glutathione has been used as therapy. Boosting glutathione has been used as therapy for autism by some experts. Autism is also associated with autoimmunity, the lack of immunoglobulins, which cause neural inflammation that correlates with the severity of symptoms. Okay. I note that glutathione can improve autoimmunity, and this aspect may explain the improvement of symptoms beyond the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory actions. Toxicity is another well-known risk factor for autism, and glutathione is the body's main detoxification agent, used by the liver, kidneys, and all organs to neutralize various toxins and contaminants, especially heavy metals. So you can see, beyond its antioxidant action, glutathione helps in autism through its immune modulating action, and it is a detox action. So glutathione is important in the biomedical treatment of autism for these main reasons. First, it acts as the body's master antioxidant. It plays an important role in preventing and reducing inflammation. plays a central role in detoxification of harmful substances, regulates immunity and autoimmunity, and glutathione manages the brain chemical glutamate, right? Excess is harmful. So, glutamic acid, glutamate. So it is a component of glutathione. So excess glutamate is harmful to the brain. So when it is used to make glutathione, so not only you have increased glutathione, but also you have reduction in the glutamate, which is harmful if it is excessive. Remember, I mentioned that the importance of mitochondria, which is the energy production factory of our cells. Mitochondria are the energy production factories in our cells. It's present in every cell except the red blood cells. Energy is needed for health, growth, and development. Mitochondria come from our mothers and they have their own DNA. During reproduction, the sperm only contributes genetic material. Half the genes and everything else are contributed by the egg cell, including the mitochondria. In autism, mitochondria do not function properly. Okay, so this one you can blame the mothers, all right, because mitochondria only come from the mothers. Improving mitochondrial functions improves autism symptoms. And so studies have shown improving mitochondrial function has been shown to improve language, social, and cognitive skills for children with autism, with resulting reduction in behaviors like hate banging and aggression. Anything that depletes glutathione or damages the cell membrane can impair mitochondrial function, including toxins, harmful microbes like Lyme, Clostridia, and yeast overgrowth, nutrient deficiencies, stress. Damaged cells and cell membranes result in CDR. CDR is the cell danger response. How the cell responds to danger, right? It's actually a stress response. Now we have a stress response for the body. Each cell also has its stress response, which is called the cell danger response. The damaged cells and membranes result in this response, which disrupts cell function. Just like us, stress also disrupts our overall function. Stopping the CDR depends on improving glutathione status, and when CDR stops, autistic behaviors improve. Then we move on to the role of the gut microbiome, the gut-brain axis, and the role of glutathione in all this. Gut microbiome, that is the totality of the gut bacteria and the other gut microbes, is known to influence the brain through the gut-brain axis. Right? ASD, autism spectrum disorders, associated with abnormal brain function. ASD is also associated with unhealthy gut microbiome. Okay, so earlier on, we established that in ASD, you have low and unhealthy redox ratios, low glutathione and unhealthy redox ratios in the brain, especially the cerebellum and the temporal cortex. Now we're talking about ASD is associated with unhealthy gut microbiome, right? Subject number 2, and the two are connected. There's a gut-brain axis, so the brain is unhealthy, the gut is also unhealthy. ASD can be improved by healthier gut microbiome. Glutathione improves gut microbiome and overall gut health. Glutathione also protects gut wall against leakage. And gut microbiome itself modulates local glutathione production. So, there's an intimate relationship between gut microbiome and glutathione. Children with ASD experience constipation, diarrhea, and other digestive problems more often than healthy children. And a microbiome-friendly diet is important in the management of ASD. Okay, this is very, very interesting, right? A study showed that taking gut microbiota or from the human donors with ASD and then transplanting this into germ-free mice, meaning they were kept germ-free to be sure that whatever is introduced are the only microbes that are introduced. And that actually induced autistic behavior in the mice. You reflect upon that for a while. Okay, which means you can transfer autistic behavior, but transferring the gut microbiota, right? Here from ASD, human donors, to germ-free mice. The next thing they did was, then the mouse that had developed ASD behavior then were then treated with certain microbial metabolites. Some of the metabolites are some of the stuff that are produced by the microbes, and some of the healthy microbes produce good metabolites that are known to improve ASD. So they use these metabolites to treat the mouse that had developed autistic behavior through the transfer of the microbiota, and they found that the behavior of this mice improve. Okay, so treatment of an ASD mouse model with specific microbiome metabolites improves behavioral abnormalities and modulates neuronal excitability in the brain. Right, so when they check the brain also, right, the brain behavior also improves. Okay, this is a very, very, very interesting finding, and this is not very new. It's only 4 years ago, May 2019. Okay, from all this, we know that boosting glutathione levels via supplementation could be an effective way of supporting the body's fight against oxidative stress and inflammation and reduce the risk of damage to critical brain tissues. And also, we know to also improve the gut microbiota. And after boosting glutathione, studies show patients may experience fewer neurological and behavioral symptoms, such as executive dysfunction, emotional dysregulation, and social withdrawal. And epilepsy is reduced, and the side effects of the drugs are also reduced. So boosting glutathione in the treatment of autism helps to reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, and the cell danger response, leading to improved sensory integration and reduction in self-injurious, repetitive, and aggressive behaviors. Boosting glutathione protects mitochondria from oxidative stress, inflammation, and CDR, and improved energy production helps restore brain function and reduce abnormal behavior. And boosting glutathione improves gut microbiome and promotes a healthy gut-brain axis, which is another important requirement for normal brain function. All right, so those who have used the boosting glutathiones as a treatment of autism have found that the treated children had less epilepsy, right? And epilepsy can be seen in about 1/3 of those with autism. They have less anxiety, they have less depression, and less reaction to their medications. Though no large clinical trials investigating glutathione as a treatment for ASD have been completed thus far, ample research have established a link between oxidative stress, inflammation, and ASD symptoms, such that boosting glutathione has become the most likely prospective therapy, especially since it can be done conveniently and cheaply compared to the other novel therapies. So we move now to Down syndrome. Okay, according to the World Health Organization, the incidence is 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 1,200 live births. And this abnormality involves the total or partial trisomy chromosome 21, as far as humans are concerned. And the presence of this extra copy of chromosome 21 affects several phenotypes, that is the external appearance and physiological features. Mental retardation associated with Down syndrome is accompanied by learning and memory deficits and a high rate of repetitive behaviors and impairments in adaptive behavior. And in addition, the brain abnormalities observed in Down syndrome have been linked to an inherent oxidative stress again. All right. For example, characteristics of accelerated aging and high incidence of hyperactivity with accompanying attention deficit. So you can see the common factor coming out, oxidative stress. Overexpression of the enzymes coded for from the genes on chromosome 21 cause imbalances in methylation and oxidative stress within the body. Okay. Okay, so addressing these imbalances through the use of diet, vitamins, and supplements can make a big impact on cognition and development for a child with Down syndrome. Any impairment in methylation is going to impact oxidative stress. because methylation is directly connected to the pathway that makes glutathione our body's most powerful antioxidant. So again, so you can see now, even in Down syndrome, there's a link with oxidative stress, and then there's a link to the production of glutathione, right? Okay, the link between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease. The life expectancy and quality of life for Down syndrome patients have improved over the years, although with increasing age, pathological dysfunctions are exacerbated, and intellectual disability may lead to the development of Alzheimer's type dementia. The neuropathology of Down syndrome is complex and includes the development of AD by middle age, altered free radical metabolism, and impaired mitochondrial function, both of which contribute to neuronal degeneration. So you can see the same factors are appearing, right? Free radicals, oxidative stress, impaired mitochondrial function. Oxidative damage in Down syndrome play a central role in the neurodegenerative process. Considering the role of mitochondrial dysfunction in neurodegenerative phenomena, impaired mitochondria in Down syndrome pathology could explain the development of Alzheimer's disease-like dementia in Down syndrome patients. Okay, so this looks like worse than in the autism spectrum disorder, because the damage to the brain will cause Alzheimer's disease type dementia in Down syndrome subjects by middle age, right? You know, in the general population, Alzheimer's usually happens after 50, definitely after 60, or more so after 70. But in some unlucky people, it happened young. For example, one of the famous actors also had, in Down syndrome, develops much earlier in middle age. Okay, then you have oxidative stress has been proposed as a pathogenic mechanism of atherosclerosis, cell aging, and neurologic disorders in Down syndrome. And this study demonstrates systematic decrease of all glutathione forms, including the glutathional hemoglobin, that is the glutathione that's attached to hemoglobin, in the blood of children with Down syndrome. So again, that studies on children with Down syndrome showed that there is an overall decline in glutathione. All right, glutathione levels were depleted. They were down to 24.9%, and the glutathione enzyme, GST, was decreased by 61.2%. And the results revealed a systematic oxidative stress status in Down syndrome individuals. Again, a common factor: decline in glutathione enzymes, and largely contributing to a massive oxidative stress in children of Down syndrome, just as what we saw in autistic children. All right. Fortunately, in the Down syndrome children, the study shows that once you give antioxidant therapy, the benefits continue for some time, even after you stop the therapy. This study examined the effect of an antioxidant intervention in biomarkers of inflammation and oxidative stress in the blood of Down syndrome children and teenagers, and the results showed that the antioxidant intervention persistently attenuated the systemic oxidative damage in Down syndrome patients, even after a relatively long period of cessation of the antioxidant intervention. You know, they stopped for at least 6 months, and they still found the benefits were still there. So you see how important antioxidant intervention is in Down syndrome, and the effect is long-lasting. Better still, don't stop, just continue long-term. And the most important antioxidant is glutathione. Okay, so what about the other neuropsychiatry or behavioral conditions? Glutathione can participate as an antioxidant either as a substrate of glutathione peroxidase, that's the enzyme, or as an electron donor in spontaneous reactions with reactive oxygen species, meaning glutathione can act as an antioxidant by itself, or you can together work with its enzyme system in fighting oxidative stress. Besides the well-established role of glutathione as an antioxidant, it serves other functions in the nervous system, including neutralization of xenobiotics. These are the contaminations that come through our food and drinks, participation in amino acid transport, regulation of the activity and conformation of proteins, protections against cysteine and glutamate neurotoxicities. All right, so excess cysteine, excess glutamic acid can be bad for the brain, and more. So in addition, glutathione might act as a neurotransmitter on its own class of receptors. This may have significant implications for the possible involvement of glutathione in learning and memory processes. This is another, inverted comma, new function of glutathione, all right? If it's true, it's not new. It's been doing this job for a long, long time. It's only then, now that the scientists are discovering, apart from all these important functions, including being a signaling molecule, it is possibly also a neurotransmitter, meaning it participates directly in the function of your nerves and the brain cells. Given its ample range of functions in the nervous system, it's not surprising to find significant alterations in glutathione levels and or glutathione-related enzymes during brain aging, and in several neurological conditions, including Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, ALS, right? That's a Lou Gehrig's disease, schizophrenia, and chronic fatigue syndrome. And this is also true for childhood conditions like ASD, Down syndrome, dyslexia, dyspraxia, and other conditions. So take-home message for this second part is that most children and adults with ASD, Down syndrome, and other neuropsychiatric disorders have low glutathione. Boosting glutathione may help improve their condition as well as their overall health, as in everyone else. In summary, healthy children and adults generally have sufficient glutathione until about age 20. Thereafter, as part of our programmed aging, glutathione production declines by 10 to 15% per decade. Since glutathione has many crucial health maintaining and disease-preventing functions, this decline will cause degenerative changes and diseases to develop. Studies have shown that boosting glutathione can improve health and has an impact on longevity, and studies also show that low glutathione levels are associated with over 100 diseases. Unhealthy children, on the other hand, and this includes those with ASD, Down syndrome, and other neurobehavioral conditions, have been shown to have defective production of glutathione, leading to low levels. This impacts their health negatively and accelerates their aging. Low levels of glutathione leads to oxidative stress, inflammation, higher toxicity, and autoimmunity, which together contribute to the pathophysiology of these diseases. The studies have shown that boosting glutathione can improve their condition, in some cases significantly. And many studies have been done showing the benefits of boosting glutathione in ASD, and some studies also show similar benefits in Down syndrome and other neuropsychiatric or behavioral conditions. So how do we increase glutathione in these unfortunate children and also us? Because as we age, we also face the same problem of low glutathione and imbalanced redox. We need to know that glutathione taken orally is not well absorbed. Because remember, I started by saying that glutathione is fragile. So if you take glutathione itself, it will just be digested. So what we need to do is to supplement with glutathione precursors or boosters. And these are the component amino acids, glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. But the most important precursor or the rate-limiting precursor is cysteine, because glutamic acid and glycine are usually abundant in our diet unless you're severely malnourished. But it's not so with cysteine. Whatever cysteine you have in your diet can also not easily made available to the body because cysteine itself is fragile, right? It's easily denatured once you cook. foods containing cysteine. And the best source of cysteine right now is a molecule called ribosine. So what is ribosine? Ribosine is a patented nutrient from the research of Max International. It is actually made of D-ribose, a simple sugar, and L-cysteine, and a natural amino acid. So the full molecule is D-ribose L-cysteine, shortened to ribocysteine, and trademarked as ribosine. Okay, three terms there: D-ribose L-cysteine, ribocysteine, and ribosine. Cysteine, which is easily absorbed and utilized by the body to make glutathione, is now available, right, through ribosine. Now, but to make the glutathione, you need energy, and energy in the body is provided in the form of ATP. So the D-ribose, which is used to stabilize L-cysteine, happens also to be the main component of ATP. So when we take ribosine, we get both the cysteine to make glutathione and the ribose to make ATP, which is needed to make glutathione. So this most probably explains why ribosine is 300% better than the next best precursor, which is NAC or N-acetylcysteine. So final part, take-home message: since glutathione taken orally is poorly absorbed, we should boost our glutathione by taking glutathione precursor supplements, and the most efficient glutathione precursor available at the moment is ribosine. Okay, and finally, right, a word from the sponsors of this talk, which is Max International, right? Max has products based on this most efficient glutathione precursor, ribosine. Max has Max 1, which is 100% ribosine, and it has Celgevity, which is ribosine plus 12 other ingredients, which are synergistically blended to provide enhanced development of glutathione, plus many other health benefits, which make Celgevity an anti-aging powerhouse. Thank you very much.